Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I am your host, Chris. As always, joined by my co-host, Sean.
What's up, people? How's everybody doing?
And John.
Sean comes first, I come second.
It's true. Well, it's because...
Well, John, that's only on the podcast, huh?
In case we all forgot, you're actually technically right now...
A friend of the show?
Yeah, for 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't...
Did you bring your card for me to punch it?
I thought I wasn't going to cut it today, to be honest.
Really? You still banging from that?
Why y'all do that?
I'm on my 4th day of antibiotics, and last night I had the worst night of coughing I've ever had in my life.
It's crazy, right?
I just could not
stop.
It would not stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I tried teas, mentholatums,
Stop.
cough drops, syrups. I just could not get it.
Were you
stop.
sipping on some scissor?
Scissor.
2 things, man.
Slurp
Kanye.
Yeah, I'm on it, man.
Sean came in just blasting Kanye and Dolly Parton. That's his mood today.
Well, as I pull into the spot to get my drink, I did the old, I just hit the button for the next channel on my Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And it goes to, I want to say the Garth channel. And Jolene's just coming on. I can't not bump Jolene.
Very
Are
true.
you kidding me?
Even old Miley Cyrus bumps that Jolene.
She does.
Yeah.
I think one of the best renditions of it I heard, I was thinking about it since we talked before the start, was the Lady Gaga. I think she rocks it out.
She's got the right, I think she takes a lot from Dolly Parton.
Maybe.
Like in her career.
Maybe.
And how she controlled her image and all that.
Yeah, remember when Dolly
wore that
played the
dress?
guitar, wore the meat dress?
But,
That's fantastic. Hey,
but she's big and shiny. She wears all the big suits.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
That's true.
Yeah.
so I finished Stranger Things.
Yeah,
you did.
same here.
Did you?
I did.
So we can all say, we can talk about it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Spoiler.
But not here.
Yeah.
Because, they wouldn't want to know that, 11 died. What?
Yeah, that would.
What?
Whoa.
Edit that, Chris.
They all die except Winona Ryder. She's just sitting crying in a house at the end of this.
The second season was okay. I get what it was trying to do. Mm-hmm. But of all 3 seasons, this one raised the bar.
I agree.
This one was fantastic.
It's definitely, you could tell the budget went up on this one.
Yeah, I was thinking that too during some shots. Did anybody else cry?
Yeah, I did.
And the Heartless over here didn't.
No, he doesn't cry unless it's Woody and Buzz.
I cried at that too, though, John.
Yeah.
What am I turning into? I'm crying at everything. All the things. Tears.
Turn around.
It was emotional. I think it was there, but I kind of the last episode of it, right? What I think you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. I started seeing things and I was like, I think this is coming. So I was prepared.
I mean,
you weren't living in the moment. You were studying other things, like you reading spoilers for the episode finale of Lost.
No,
you did not do that.
He did.
No, I got sent that.
Oh my god!
He still looked. He couldn't look away.
He couldn't. Yeah. He could have not.
I did
clicked.
not. I mean, that's the one good thing about these shows is, they just come out, and as long as you digest them right away, there's really not much out there. Right? And it's kind of like, why would I go look when it's literally right there and available?
Well, see, that's the thing. I cannot. Like you said, you can digest. Sorry for the noise, guys. You can digest these things now in a day.
Yeah.
But when the second season came out, I did that. I digested it in a day and a half. But then when the 3rd season came out, I had to watch the 2nd season again, because when you cram it like that, it's like studying for an exam and you're cramming the night before. Once you take that exam, it's gone.
It is.
It's out of your brain. I had no recollection of virtually anything that happened in that season. I'd seen the 1st season twice because I watched that 1st season again in preparation of the 2nd season. So cramming is just binging, as they call it, I think is just, it's a very satisfying way to watch.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the best way to watch.
Yeah, I think of Jeff of all of us probably had the biggest advantage with Game of Thrones in the sense that he pretty much binged all the way till what it was. I mean, he didn't get caught up till the 4th episode of the final season. So, by the time he's there, and things are popping off, he completely has a fresh mind and take on everything that's been occurring for the last, for us, which had been the last decade.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could talk about so many details about this. I mean, obviously, the show reminds you from the even back to the 1st season of The Goonies. It has that type of dynamic to it.
You're going to say no, Chris?
No, this one does. The first season actually reminds me of E.T. This one reminds me of the Goonies.
I mean, we can tit for tat that, but I mean, it's definitely got a Goonies vibe in it.
Well, it's just
it's kids on an adventure.
It really,
Goonies.
it really just ran with the campiness, and I know they've all been campy, but this one really just threw the nerd bathwater out with the baby, which was probably didn't make much sense, but just every pop culture reference from the 80s was just all in your face, and in the final episode, it was just glorious, glorious. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's tons of them.
I like that.
I mean,
The pops,
they even
Sean, have
put
you seen the pops?
Yeah.
They look great.
I'm not, dude. So I bought the first season. I think I've said this on the air. If I haven't,
did.
yeah, I bought the first season pops, and then when I realized all the pops they were going to make for this, I hit the eject button. Matter of fact, my entire first season base Stranger Things pops are for sale. Hit me up if you want them. Well, I'll give you a fantastic price on them.
Yeah, I've been wondering what your deal is with pops these days. Like what your status is.
I completely. I was going to sell everything, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get around to it.
Sell it.
I took everything down from my room, except for, I just started looking at my room and I had like 6 or 4 bookcases. I just had a ton of pops everywhere. The bookcases were full of pops, and then there were pops that started getting on the floor.
Yeah.
And then that started turning into stacks on the floor. And then there were boxes coming in from like the, Star Wars bounty thing. What was it called? I forget. The Star Wars boxes were starting to come in. It just got out of control, and I was sitting there and I was going, what are you doing?
Are people buying them from you?
I haven't tried to sell them yet.
Oh, I thought you.
So I was gonna,
I'm moving.
it's fine, dude. Just do what you do. It's very hard to tell a story when Chris is acting just crazy.
You had to back up on that one.
Well, I'll say that word. I don't care.
He was like,
So
that's how it went.
you remember that Emperor Palpatine I saw? And
Yes.
So actually, Clarissa, my wife,
Your wife
ordered it for me. So now I've got that. It's so cool.
You bought that one?
Yeah.
I got a SpongeBob with
You
the
bought
rainbow.
that one?
Yeah, you actually said you didn't have it.
Yeah.
That's
What are we doing here, man?
Well, I don't know how to respond to you, Sean.
And I found, I sent you guys a picture of it. I found Aang from
Yes.
Avatar recently.
I'm not into Avatar, so I was just kind of like, oh, cool.
You should do yourself.
As in, you've never
You have
seen
Hulu?
the show?
Or Prime?
It's not really. You have to
It's
buy
on. It's on one of
One
them.
Punch Man wins all of it. So
I've
That's
looked
up
for,
there,
I've
too.
looked for it
Yeah.
everywhere. It's not available to just stream. You have to buy it.
Oh well,
It is available for like $20, the whole series
totally worth it.
at Best Buy. Last time I
Totally
checked.
worth it.
I'm not getting into it. It's not
You
gonna
should
happen.
actually get that for your daughter at some point because she probably children love that show and it's perfect for her age right now.
What?
Come on,
Yes.
Appa. Yep.
And then you get to the second one. The second one, Legend of Korra, is pretty good too.
It's even better.
Yeah.
Ugh. What are y'all doing to me right now? This feels like some sort of intervention.
It's fantastic.
mean-
you need this in your life.
Yes.
Just do it.
Put down the other things, Sean. You
Put it
need
right
this.
there with Horizon Zero Dawn.
So how many pops would you say you have?
I don't know. It's in the hundreds. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hundreds of hundreds. I don't know. There's, like the moving boxes you can get from like Home Depot.
Sure.
So I think there's 4 or 5 of those completely full upstairs. I
Jeez.
still have 2 bookcases pretty much full of pops, and now, the random knickknack like the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild collector's edition that came with the sword. That sword statue, that's up there. So then I have like a Zelda amiibo, but then right below it I'll have I forget or like Harry Potter pops, the original first series. There was like 8, so it goes from like Harry Potter over to Hagrid. I've got those on it, but I took them out the box. I'm starting to like actually do that. Appreciate them. It's one of the dumbest things ever because pops, you can literally open them and the box looks exactly like if you didn't open it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But people get them and sell them for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're like, what is going on?
It's like even the rare ones. It's not like they come in some
Right.
different type of packaging to
Right.
help preserve it.
Well, there's one that I've been looking at recently that I just think is a gorgeous pop. It's the Mysterio from Spider-Man.
Oh, it's we saw that at
It's really good. It's a real, yeah, that's what it's doing. Really, but seriously, really good looking pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a solid Spider-Man movie.
Pretty good.
Yeah. That's like the best I could say. I'm like, I wasn't
But you
overly
didn't like-
blown away.
You didn't like the first one either.
No, I love the first one. First one's solid.
You liked Homecoming.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
That's surprising. I really, really, really liked it. And the people that I know that like Marvel movies and you know that universe, that they're like, oh, that was okay Spider-Man. I'm like, I love that Spider-Man. It's fantastic.
No, I liked it because it was a high school kid actually in high school.
Yeah.
Like
High school kid in high school, yo.
They haven't done that. Like they keep going like, hey, here's Tobey Maguire, who's like 30 something playing a high schooler in the first movie, or like then Andrew Garfield, who was in his mid 20s. Like, no, Tom Holland was like what, 17 when he did the first movie. So it made good sense. And like here coming back to this, it was like, okay, that's cool. I hope with the next one they do move past high school and be like, okay, we've done 2 high school movies now. Let's see young Peter Parker in the world going.
It's going to be called
Yeah.
Spider-Man Senior Prom.
Hey, let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Before you went to watch the movie, rumors were starting to break about something being in the second post-credit scene. Were you on?
Yes.
Okay. Don't spoil, because I still haven't seen it.
It was one of those things where the reason why I knew was not because anyone directly said it, but because someone pointed out that someone was at the premiere, and they had noted he has not been at any of these premieres in recent memory. And it was just like, you start to do the math and you go like, maybe he's
Could
there
it?
for 5 seconds. I don't know. I didn't know. And it was a nice surprise still.
I don't know what it is, but I hope my number one
You
hope.
haven't seen it?
I have not seen it. So you guys know this, and this is not a spoiler for you people listening, unless it becomes true, or I have no idea. I pray that the thing that's in the second post credit spoiler thing, is Deadpool.
It's the first post.
Well, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I hope that Deadpool finally is going to be in a movie on this side of things.
Though the second one is actually surprisingly important too when you think about it. Like compared to what they usually do.
I'm gonna borrow a common criticism that you use that I think is an overhyped criticism. They didn't earn that. They did not earn that.
I thought it was there because it just
No, they did
to
not
me
earn
I was like, man. And I
like-
can't say. I'll talk to you about it later because it's really hard to talk about that.
I
Without
like post-credit scenes that have relevance. Instead of like Captain Marvel's post-credit scene where the cat pukes up the Tesseract. I'm like, no, just stop wasting my time with this.
I thought
crap.
the worst
I
was-
gotta go pee.
I thought the worst was Ant and Wasp, where it was just like, here's that ant playing drums.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
like-
kind of stuff. It just,
Yeah.
I don't sit through.
What is going on this side of the table?
Right there.
What are you guys doing?
You don't want to know.
Can we be professional?
Can I just give this to Penny?
No.
But overall, I thought it was a very solid movie. I just had 2 gripes about it, but that's other than that,
I am hopeful, or part of me hopes, and I don't know, because it just hasn't been their trend lately. I want the next Spider-Man movie. A lot of these first 2 have big connections to the MCU and things going on with them. I really would like the next one to just be primarily like, sure, it can be in the background, but I just want a straight up, doesn't really have, maybe there might be a thing or 2 in the background again that might have ties, but is straight up and primarily a Spider-Man movie. And that is
How was this one? You don't have to answer directly. My assumption is that this one is, it clearly in the preview showed that he's devastated from what happened in Endgame. So I feel like that thread was there.
For sure.
But he clearly went away to another place.
Yeah, he's kind of like hiding from...
Don't say anything.
Yeah.
I will cut you.
No, this isn't spoilers. This has all been teased. Yeah.
Huh?
It's in the
like,
trailer.
it's very teased. Like, he's coming out of this and he's struggling with the fact that, the guy he
Adored.
looked up to
Yeah.
is gone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
and, like...
Well, that in itself could be a
and
spoiler.
then, like... But it's like... But... dealing with the idea of like, okay, he's gone, but like the world still has its problems, and like I'm
Still
a
needs
kid.
it, I got
do
you.
I want to do that? That's where it's coming from. Without going any further, I got that. I was like, I was totally fine with it because I'm like, how do you not address that coming?
But
out
what I'm
of the
saying
last
is
one?
that should be all that it was.
yeah.
But you're implying like this movie still was tied into the MCU some kind of way, and that's going to surprise me because I didn't think that it would at all.
I mean, yeah, there's still significant ties in there.
Yeah, but do you think do you honestly think it's going to go away from the MCU at this point?
Probably not. I mean, that's one of the things that's like weak, I think, sometimes with some of these movies is that it's this thing of like, we have these checklists of things that we have to get out of the way so that when we do the big combined thing, you know, we've set all those pieces up where people can't go and like, where'd that come from? You know, but the thing that maybe sometimes is, you know, a direct result of that is that you don't get maybe the best story you could have for the character that is on screen. Like Doctor Strange is a great example of that to me. Like that could have been a much better intro to Stephen Strange, but it was a lot
fantastic.
of just, it was a lot more about, we've got to set up all this stuff with the time stone and everything and its importance and its powers and what it can do because it's going to play a big part.
Chris, I had never known of Doctor Strange. I watched Doctor Strange.
Sure.
And I felt like everything was perfect.
Yeah.
But again, I love that movie. And I felt like I needed to know what the time stone was because I was a noob to Doctor Strange.
Sure. I don't mind that being in there, but you know.
I do have a public rant.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Before
I do that, I just wanted to let you guys know because I know we're getting close to pivot time. Don't let me not rant. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Before I did see one other movie this weekend, and it hit me hard because there was psychedelics in it. There was nature, and there was a festival, and all these things. And then there was also some really horrifying stuff in broad daylight. Midsummer, which came out, which is the dude. What's his name?
Yeah,
Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Right?
He did Hereditary.
Yeah. Which people are very divisive on. Like some people love that movie.
Who's divisive on that?
Like
That's
they're
unanimously.
and it's the
praised.
same. It's the same here. Like there are people that walk out of that film, and like some people are like, I hate this because it's just kind of opposite of like
Are you talking about audiences or are you talking about critics?
Yes, audiences.
Okay.
Audiences. But I loved it.
Because the big criticism, well, a criticism of the Oscars last year is Toni Collette was not
From
nominated.
United States of Terror. Double name drop.
Is it Toni Collette?
Yes, it is Toni Collette.
It better be at this point. I tell you that much. Credit.
Yeah, she wasn't nominated. But that's standard. I mean, horror has a problem getting into the Oscars.
Your face has a problem.
Like, unless you're Get Out and you do something that just truly surprises people in a way that, you know, they're like, how do we not? But, yeah, this one is up there. And it's some of the best directing I've seen this year. Like, there are shots and transitions in this movie that I was just like, wow, that's very clever.
So it's the best cinematography you've seen.
Yeah, and directing.
Sean,
Yeah.
you got something you need to get off
Dude,
your chest?
Yeah.
People are terrible.
Yeah.
I want anyone that listens to this podcast, if you see anyone doing what I've seen people posting on the internet recently, please Goldberg spear them.
Are you talking about the Bluebell thing?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe how terrible people have become. John, if you don't know what I'm talking about, so these videos are going kind of viral, if you will. Now the people are going to eventually get in trouble.
About the
Yeah, so there's a video of a lady in Walmart. She opens up a Bluebell container out of like the freezer section of Walmart and licks it. Puts it back in the freezer section after putting the lid back on. I've now seen a video of a person going to the mouthwash in like a Walgreens or something, opening the mouthwash, gargling some mouthwash, spitting it back in, putting it back on the shelf.
Yeah.
I've now seen another video.
At least the good thing with that is that it's going to be.
There's no, Chris, there's no, at least there's a good thing with that. I've seen a dude, I want to say it's like at another Walmart-y type store.
Yeah.
Arizona tea comes in a gallon, opens the Arizona tea, spits in it, puts the lid back on, puts it on the shelf. And in each one of these videos, there's giggling and then there's a running away.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? I'm going to make the assumption they posted it because people are dumb. They post those videos. They think it's funny. They run away. The person that licked the Bluebell, I don't know the update on it, but the feds were looking for her because that is a felony.
Yes.
That's tampering like with a consumer product. it drives me like insane.
I think they said like
how are people, John?
Get 20 years.
How do you and me and Chris and other people walk on the same earth as these kinds of people? These kinds of people.
Well, let me tell you about a town.
It blows. When I worked at an apartment in my company, my eyes went from naive about people to like wide open about people, right? Mm-hmm. This is like another level for me. Because then I go, well, how many times has this happened before? And I've eaten that bluebell. Like, who pays attention when you crack the lid and you get the scoop going? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, Sean, let me tell you about the town of Rockville, Georgia.
Have you never seen this, John?
Wonderful history.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So PSA, Goldberg Spear people, record that.
Goldberg.
See, the people that go into a grocery store and do that, or the people who double park in parking spaces, or the people who do all sorts of things that are, in their mind, they're just being human beings. They get to feel better about themselves and live in comfort knowing that at least they're not Hitler, right? That's right.
At least they're not Hitler.
At least they're not Hitler.
At least they're not Hitler.
But
that's a random one.
But that's
well, he was saying,
but my point
he was
is
saying that the one of the worst people ever. At least they're not that guy.
My point is they get to feel good knowing that they're not evil sons of guns, and they are evil sons of guns.
That's terrible, isn't it?
They're just completely. It's just.
But Chris isn't worried about it because mouthwash is going to clean itself like beer.
Well,
I'm worried about it with the bluebell. I'm not worried.
The fact that you're seeing it more and more, is almost. I almost feel like some people are doing this, spitting into a mouthwash bottle and then going to buy it. It's at this point, it's almost like they're just.
Please.
It's like that bottle cap challenge where they're.
It's copycat mentality.
Right.
It's like one person does it and then they're like, ha ha ha. Oh, everyone's complaining. Well, I'll go do this.
Well, what needs to happen is the copycat challenge needs to be kiboshed when the sentence comes down on the first person who gets caught.
Execution.
I'm trying to think of like the last thing that was like this, which was
public execution,
which was probably
hereby sentenced to death,
hanging in front of the courtyard.
The last thing I can remember like this was the whole entire Tide Pod challenge. You know, like just kids eating. You're like, why? Mm-hmm. Why would you do this? And it's like, well, everyone else is doing. You know, once one person sets a standard, someone else eventually, out of the millions upon millions of people out there, is going to be dumb enough to emulate.
Well, I'm a little strapped for cash. I've decided to sell my bathwater.
There you go. I saw that too. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
So
that's it.
The internet just shouldn't shock us anymore.
But it does.
I almost posted on Facebook. Yeah, I'm one of those old farts that use Facebook. But last week
I posted on Facebook.
I saw that. We'll get to that. I almost said I think the experiment of social media. Mm-hmm. I think it's time to say it failed. It's just completely failed.
It's done, dude.
It doesn't make us better. It doesn't make us closer. Right. It doesn't make us more open-minded. What does it do? We learn more about each other and we become more tribal. It's nonsense.
Pictures.
It's over. It's over.
Oh, Sean got a haircut. That's what you learned. Yeah. World Cup picture. Hey, Sean got a haircut.
But I talked to your wife.
Your wife, my wife,
and she wants me. Huh? She wants me. Yes. She wants me to be in charge of your next birthday party. And I wanted to run this past you. I'm gonna have Moe's cater.
That's funny.
There's only enough time in the intro for one angry rant by Sean. Okay. Oh my goodness.
First of all, I never see you that much posting on Facebook.
Right.
You dropped the bomb.
I was livid. I posted it on. I don't post enough on
Chris
Twitter.
And I talked about it at lunch today.
I don't post enough on Twitter on my personal pages. I'm more consumed with the weekly game chat.
Yeah.
Basically, copy and pasted that thing I put on Facebook on everything that I have.
Yeah.
I was just because it's stupid. But then the angel that he is, Mikey. Shout out to Mikey down in Florida. He gave me a glimmer of hope. He said that down there, it's still okay.
Yeah, when I was thinking, like, when you said that, I was like, wow, that must have just happened because I went to there a couple of weeks ago when I went to go see yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had it. I had it when I had dinner.
So who knows?
Yeah, maybe they were just out.
But it was everything that led up to the point of me realizing they didn't have it anymore is what led to me posting that. It was just, you had to have been there kind of thing. It was no bueno.
Because you never post on Facebook, I read every word. I'm like,
why is he so pissed? Oh, okay. Anyways.
Yeah. I'm done.
In a world where you see on Facebook people venting about politics and who gets cast in movies and all these things, here comes Sean Haywood venting about Moe's Southwestern Grill.
That was about the thing where I'm like, when that went down with the movie thing this week, I was just like, I'm not surprised. And then I just, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate the internet. I just hate it.
Well, the sad part is most people, it's one of those things where you don't think it's true where the people making the loudest voice aren't the majority.
Oh no, for sure, I agree with that one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
as far as the population goes, the loudest people represent 1% of the
Yeah.
population. But we pretend
that it's
that it's the majority yelling.
right. I love your hat.
You
John's
should
rocking his Chattanooga.
Something
hat.
tells me when that movie comes out, if it's a good movie, it will do just fine.
It's not going to do well.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Oh.
I only say that because most of these Disney movies are just not good.
John has said that the
just
live
not
action
good.
movies, you've said that before.
But you say it's not going to do well.
Oh, I probably do.
Yeah.
Well. I don't. That came out wrong.
Yeah. It's like Dumbo didn't do well, and it's still I think like number
did Dumbo
10.
do well?
I mean, like it made like what was it, 350 million?
Did it?
That's
so-
not a drop in the. Was it a
Yeah.
drop in the bucket for Disney?
Flash in the pan, drop in the bucket,
Fish in a barrel? Not the
was like-
same.
poop in the
I
bowl.
looked at the earlier today. I looked at the top 20 movies so far this year, grossing worldwide. Disney only has 5.
Why would you do
Right?
They're slacking.
They have 5 of the top 20,
But they're just top five.
Their 5 combined grossed more than the other 15 combined,
Jeez.
and they're about to have Lion King come out next week. And then Star Wars and Frozen later this year. It is ridiculous how much money they're
Are
making.
we going to watch Lion King? I'm going to watch Lion King.
That's
yeah.
next week.
Yes, it is.
My wife
Your wife.
actually wants to go see that. I was like over the moon. I'm like, I would love for you to go to a movie with us. That would be amazing.
John
With who?
Favreau.
Well, me and Aiden.
Oh, I thought you meant with us. I was about to get
Yeah,
excited.
no.
Well, I would love for you guys.
Well,
to
you
go.
said it on air
That's not true.
during a recording, and you
I'd
said
love for
with
you
the-
to go.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah,
He's been very direct. Like,
That's
John
true.
doesn't want to go to a movie with me. And that's
Well,
fine.
because you're
It's tough, man.
yeah.
We have to stand outside and talk about it.
That's the
Every
worst.
time.
Well, no, the worst of that is Tony. Tony
Yeah,
is
he is
like,
pretty
Oh
bad.
my god.
like me. I'll go to a movie. I have no problem. Like me and Aaron went to go see Dark Phoenix, and we stood outside for maybe 2 minutes, and then we were like, "All right, man, I'll see you later."
Yeah, but the standing outside.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the car.
yeah, that's true. Speaking of going to things, you guys want to go to the topic?
That was rough.
Yes, it's
You know, like when you have a perforated, did I say that right? Perforated piece of paper. One of those- perforated, and you know it rips perfectly, right?
But you mess it up.
But you mess up that piece of paper being ripped.
Well, as we're
That's what just happened.
going to the topic, I want the audience to be aware that I'm about to go tinkle.
Oh, okay.
Is that going to happen?
Oh, okay.
You do
Go
that,
get your
John.
John Tinkle.
You do that, John.
My John Tinkle.
Yes. All right. Well, let's pivot.
Topic time.
The topic is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. You love it when I do that. Do you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up?
It's fine. I just can't wait for my birthday.
Yeah, when is that?
That's funny. That's an inside joke type thing, huh?
Yeah.
John. So
Thanks for playing this game and talking about it.
So you bought this game
I did.
on Switch.
Yeah, I was on vacation and I thought, what a perfect time to play. I'd always intended to play it on Switch. That's the platform I wanted it on.
Because it's
So,
Castlevania.
Yeah. And so the week before we went on vacation, I was able to pre-download it.
Uh-huh.
I like a good pre-download.
Right?
It's always a good thing.
You got to be careful with that
And it's not
pre-download.
large
Because I
game,
wasn't
right?
No, it's not that large.
That's what she said.
So I went ahead and downloaded it because I wasn't sure how internet would be in
Yeah.
different Airbnbs we'd be staying at. So
Good
it
idea.
It would be ready to open up, and I'd be, slaying demons and until my heart's content.
Hey,
So,
John,
Yeah.
what system did you finish this game on?
Xbox One.
Ah, Ah.
But I'll definitely unpack that.
I wonder if there's a reason for that.
Can you let him unpack it, Chris?
Yeah.
He's got notes.
Yeah. What does he? I haven't heard anything.
I see visual proof of notes.
I kind of want to hold that comparison for the end as I'm sort of summing up the
sum of all fears. No,
dropping my Richard on the table, that kind of thing.
That's a good book. So, it's an all right movie.
All right movie.
Yeah.
Better book, right?
So
that's a lot of Jack Ryan.
For anybody who's been sleeping under a rock over the past, I guess, 4 or 5 years, this Kickstarter was started by Koji Igarashi.
That's nice.
And he is the original developer director for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Not only that, he's done pretty much every Metroidvania Castlevania game from the GBA to the Nintendo DS.
The GBA. Yeah.
From Circle of the Moon. Curse of the Circle? Yeah, Circle of the Moon.
But he wasn't involved in the Lords of Shadow, right?
No, he wasn't involved.
That wasn't him. Sorry to do.
Yeah, that was old Danny derailed right there. Thanks, Chris.
I just wanted to. I didn't know. So
Kojima was involved in
like the Kojima
Lords of Shadow.
The Kojima.
I could see that.
But according to what it's got his logo on the game. But apparently, what he did is he went in, talked to David Cox, the producer, signed a bunch of pictures, and went on about his business. That's the rumor. But
that's what John wants to believe.
No, I think that's what Colin actually said at one point. But anyway, anybody
10 out of 10 that game.
Yeah.
Anybody who's fans of this guy Koji Igarashi and Nintendo DS and GBA, if you didn't, a lot of people bought these systems to play his games. On DS, it was a lot of people bought these systems to play these games. These represent as an amalgamation some of the best games on those two systems. Sean, shut your mouth.
They bought it to play some Zelda, and they were also like, "This is a nice perk to have."
Yeah, but that's like I think I've got how many? I've got I think 3 or 4 of them on the DS, and they're all just fantastic. Symphony of the Night obviously is the pinnacle.
That's probably why it's been released like 900 times.
Absolutely,
now. Yeah.
And so Konami, for whatever reason, and no one ever knows what goes on in Konami's boardroom anymore, but they stopped making this type of game. Everybody else under the sun makes these games, from Ori and the Blind Forest to, what's Hollow Knight, all these types of games. It's definitely this Metroidvania style game is just being made over and over and over again.
If you're an indie developer, that's definitely one of the genres that's high up there for sure.
Yeah, and so Konami didn't want to make another one of these games, so Koji said, "Fine, I'm going to go make this myself."
Yeah,
and we've heard this story before. We've heard this with the Mega Man guy, who went off to make Mighty Number 9 to. Didn't he also work on what was it, Recore? Yeah, and that's probably why he should have not divided.
Said like, you know what? Let me focus on this one thing, and then I'll focus on this other thing.
So the goal, I think, and I might be imagining this, but the goal to me for him was, let me make this game, this spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and show Konami that people still want this title. These people still want this type of game. And I can say from the jump that, it's been a long road. It's been about 5 years. Vita version was canceled.
It's been a long December.
The Vita version was canceled. The Wii U was canceled.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer. They didn't like the visuals. There's been a lot of struggle with this title getting made. I think Way Forward came in. They're the directors of the producers of Shovel Knight. They came in and sort of rescued the project, got them some more funding, and here we are. 5 years after that Kickstarter made $3 million, I believe, somewhere around that figure.
Yeah, it did very well.
And I can tell you that as far as him accomplishing the goal of delivering you a solid Castlevania spiritual successor, he's delivered in spades. This is one of those rare moments in Kickstarter stories where they actually delivered on the promise that they had.
Yeah. Wasn't just
better
a good
late
idea.
than never. Wasn't just a good idea, and better late than never. So this, it's almost like it almost mirrors Symphony of the Night and how it functions. Now, one could say maybe one of the things he could have done is show Konami that this is still something that's attractive by doing something a little bit different, going, stretching it a little bit to convince Konami that this could exist with certain tweaks.
Well, I think honestly,
you like a good tweak, don't
with
you,
Konami,
Sean?
the only way you're convincing them at this point is if it's what are those called?
Pachinko machine.
Yeah, pachinko.
Pachinko.
Yeah, that's the only way you're convincing them. Or if it's PES soccer, those are the only two things.
Castlevania, Pachinko of the night.
Probably exist.
Yeah,
somewhere, right?
So it's pretty much. I think it takes place in the late 1700s, a lot like Symphony of the Night. You play as what the main character in this game her name is Miriam. She is what they call a shard binder. So the lore in this game is a little bit convoluted. It's a serviceable thing to get you from point A to point B.
We can't say vampire.
Yeah, but basically, people turned away from faith. In favor of technology. They put their faith in technology and left the spiritual leaders behind. And so in some sort of ploy to get people to return, these spiritual leaders, they're known as the church. It doesn't indicate Catholic or anything like that because it's a fictional world. It just calls it the church.
A world.
Releases demons onto mankind. And in response to that, things get a little out of hand. So they create these humans and fuse them with shards, deposit shards inside their bodies. There's probably a lot better way to explain this where someone's scratching their head who's playing this going, that's not how it goes at all. And so they create these humans called shardbinders who have the ability to defeat demons and absorb the powers that they have when they defeat them. When you defeat an enemy, you're given this thing called a shard, and it fuses with the shard inside your body, and you're granted certain powers based on that enemy you defeated.
They're not hearing this.
Okay, I was like, that would be hilarious.
Ooh, pretty. Yeah, it looks like a demon right there, John.
Yep. So this character here, this is like the first boss of the game. When you defeat this boss, you are granted a shard that basically allows you to use that tentacle on your enemies in the game.
For the record, they have no context what you're talking.
Yeah, but I'm explaining it to you guys.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, a lot of the... can you turn that down a little bit?
Yeah, there you go.
So...
ooh. Boobies.
Oh, jeez. Of course, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it. Yeah. They're there.
It's like we went the extra mile.
We did this for you, John.
Yeah.
So the game, I haven't paid a second of attention to this game. Right? Even
RPG elements?
No, I mean, it's surprisingly, I don't know if surprising is the right word. It looks fantastic.
Well, while you're doing this, Chris, you might want to pull up a PC Switch side-by-side comparison.
Okay.
Graphics comparison.
Why not Xbox Switch?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, because I know you said at some point you're going to unpack what happened, why you went from Nintendo Switch to...
Here we go.
Because you started on Switch, you went on vacation, you played it on the Switch. Mm-hmm. Last week when you talked about it after the show, you were not happy about the Switch.
Not too thrilled.
Yeah,
not too thrilled.
I mean, I've seen you happier about other things, John. Okay, so which one is which?
This is PS4. That
you
is
could tell
Switch.
right away. Jeez. PS4? Yeah, that is very muddy.
No, that's not that bad. Y'all don't act that crazy. Sure, it's a little crisper.
Yeah.
I mean, but come on, dude.
This is...
That's not that bad.
No, they do pretty well with focusing on the character, but watch the environments as this thing progresses.
Yeah. Let's see.
Look at all that. It's just...
And look how chugged that is. Yeah, you can see, I can see the frame rate being slower on the Switch right away.
See, what you saw here, you defeated an enemy and a shard shot out of the enemy and pretty much stabs your entire body and merges with the shard inside you. See, that was
the
PS4.
backgrounds are pretty...
You just don't have any of that gloss or sheen on
Well,
it.
and I think, like, to John's point, the big thing, as he said, this isn't some very large game. You know, it's not like we're talking about, like, for instance, of course, Witcher is coming to Switch later this year, and obviously the way they're making it work is they've had to reduce the resolution of the game, right? And I think people are okay with that because, one, if you're someone who has, already played this game, you're fine. You understand there's so much game in it, and it's such a large game regardless of what system you're on, that, you're getting your money's worth, right?
What you're saying, yeah, because the game's already been played. It's already The Witcher 3.
Exactly.
And you're just going to be able to play it on the Switch. I don't think that I don't want to look at this as like a Switch bash though, because
I don't think it's a Switch bash. I think it's a developer bash. If anything, it's like,
look, dude,
this is we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but that's fine. To me, it's the developer not taking advantage, just kind of crapping on the Switch. I'm telling you, the Switch version did not have to look this bad.
This
right. looks like an up-res 3DS game.
And that's not
so
good.
Here's my question to you, John. How long did you play this before you started going, something's wrong and maybe I should get this on another console? Was it when you started seeing the articles where it was true that, or clear that the internet was complaining about this? Or was it you picked it up and, midnight hit and the game unlocked and you started playing the hell, It
was not immediate, but I saw as I progressed into the game, the frame rate would drop about 15, 20 frames per second sometimes, and it's supposed to be locked at 30.
Yeah.
The input lag, and you can see it tested on YouTube. The input lag is
terrible.
It's not good, and I kept getting owned by enemies because the moment I hit the button to jump or avoid attacks,
there'd be a second
there was just delay, and I kept getting owned. And as soon as I jumped on the
Xbox,
there was no more problem with that.
You went back to John Rambo.
So I played to my credit, I played 4 hours of this game on the Switch. Yeah. I gave it the old college try.
And I think the sad part of it was we were looking at this, I don't know about how it's sold here in the United States. We'll find that out later this month, right? But the UK, they noted the fact that, the PS4 and Xbox versions came out about a week before the Switch version.
Yeah.
And that week it premiered, it only hit about 20 or something on the rankings. It jumped up to 11 the week of Switch's premiere, which meant that it was easily the best selling version of the game.
People wanted this on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense because, as you said, Castlevania, something, especially old school Castlevania, while sure people played a lot of Symphony of the Night on PS2, I think if you're going back to real PS1. Traditional, or I'm sorry, yeah, PS1, most people think about Nintendo, so it makes a lot of sense that they would jump over to that system on this. And plus, who doesn't want to play this kind of game on the go, right?
Yeah.
I think it's why why Hollow Knight came to Switch before it came to PS4 or Xbox.
And if you look at side-by-side comparisons of Hollow Knight on Switch and Xbox, it's crisp, it's clean. Is it a higher res? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You look at Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, they both look they're both pretty games,
Yeah.
So
I'm not asking Switch to put out 4K because it's never said they're doing 4K.
In fact, in handheld mode, this game runs on the Switch at 570p. 540.
Yeah.
And then docked at 720.
Yeah.
It's just inexcusable.
Which it's supposed to be, I think, it's supposed to be that mobile, the Switch can do up to 720.
Handheld.
And then, that's what I mean, mobile.
Sorry.
And then when it's docked, it can do up to 1080.
Yeah.
So,
But back to the gameplay. The fundamental core of this game is shards. Every enemy, and it doesn't do it every time you defeat an enemy, but every enemy has a chance of dropping a shard.
Drop.
And there are. I have played 14 hours on the Xbox. And
you beat it, right?
I technically beat it.
Oh, okay. You got more things to do, but
there's a lot of stuff to do. So the main story was finished.
Solid?
But as far what
solid,
what was solid
story? Yeah, I mean, it's a device.
It's a Castlevania game.
Yeah,
It's a device that gets you to point A to point B. But as far as shards found, I found 40% of the shards available in the game. There's just a plethora of fundamental powers and abilities that you can use. And I've currently I use my primary shards are in my pants.
That's fine. So there it is.
I shard a lot, but the main primary shard that I use is a kind of a flame attack where I'm throwing a wide fireball at enemies, and you can take these shards, and with ingredients you find in the world, elements, things like that, you can upgrade them. I haven't been able to max out any upgrades. I think you can just keep upgrading them, and they just keep stronger and stronger and stronger. So definitely, water-based attacks with shard powers, like that tentacle attack from the first boss. You can have that ability.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of the stuff are directional attacks. Some of them are passive attacks where they increase the power of certain types of weapons you wield. You can wield pistols, daggers, pew, pew. Swords, clubs. I'm currently using an umbrella as my primary weapon because it's the strongest weapon so far that I found in the game. So that's pretty much how the shards work. They're utilized to upgrade and enhance all your other tools. And so as far as equipment goes, you collect food, you collect parts of demons, you collect elemental materials, and stuff like this helps you. You can craft food, you can craft weapons, you can use these items to craft and enhance your gear, enhance your shard abilities, all these things. There's tons of stuff to collect in the world, and I haven't even scratched the surface of everything that I need to get to increase my armor, all this stuff. And all this is pretty, basic. If someone listening to it who's a fan of this series, this is kind of run-of-the-mill stuff.
Yeah.
So your inventory has stuff like certain dishes that you can make, ingredients that you can make dishes with. And in this game, there's certain people that you come up to that these little side quests where you're defending... you're taking revenge on a person who you're taking revenge on behalf of a person who died by going out into the castle and killing this many number of a certain type of demon. You come back to that lady and she rewards you with some sort of item. You give one lady a certain type of food and she rewards you with items. So all these different side quests that help you get more types of armor, gear, all this type of stuff. So
makes sense. Now compare to Symphony of the Night.
In what way? It's basically
which
Symphony
one
of
is
the Night.
better?
Symphony of the Night is definitely just the standard bearer.
I'd be like,
but it's hard for me to
anything else.
But it's hard for me to be objective about that because of the nostalgia that it has. It's just
it was a trend center.
Yeah. So one of the coolest things about this is you can pretty much find certain crystals in the world that unlock a sort of, think of a weapons wheel, and you can assign a loadout.
Rock me, baby, like my weapons wheel.
You can assign a loadout. Say you've got a certain hat, a certain set of shards that you like, a certain set of weapons and armor that you like. I don't know the reference.
That's
whatever
a Bob Dylan song.
Okay, that's probably why.
Darius Rucker covered it. Old Crow Medicine Show.
Darius who?
They're the one who finished it.
Yeah,
Old Crow.
So you can assign this wheel, and I think there's like 6 or 7 spots on the wheel. You can assign a circle on the wheel a loadout.
Yeah.
And you can go to a different. You can do a different loadout of shards and armor, things that work depending on what area of the map you're in. And you can put it on your loadout screen, so you can go interchange real quick. You don't have to go back into the menus and put this on and put this on and put this on. It's just basically there for you to grab.
Kind of like Ori. right? Because
I
Ori
don't remember having a loadout for Ori.
Well, Ori had that thing with the circle wheel where you'd hold down LB and then you could just switch between your abilities. Of what
That's a weapons wheel.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about, it's a loadout, basically where you have this armor, this ring, this sword, this hat, this shard power, and you assign it to one spot.
Gotcha.
So you can switch from this one to, you can switch to different ones that have different loadouts, basically based on what area of the map you're in, what type of weapons are more suitable for the area.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing. So yeah, that's there's nothing too in depth about it. The main place where you upgrade everything is basically a hideout, a central location, a headquarters, if you will. Fast travel, Sean.
Ooh,
I know that's a big one for you. That's a John.
John says
necessity.
Pretty decent. Decent. You walk into these rooms that have these stained glass mirrors. It took me a while to figure out what this was, but you basically have certain green rooms on the map that you can fast travel to by going into these rooms and jumping into the stained glass window and transporting to another area of the map.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it, Chris? I don't think you meant that. But does it, John?
In the context of the world, yeah.
It works.
Yeah. But there's save spaces where you save your game, you replenish your health and in your magic and things like that. And those are pretty steady
so you
and
can't
ready,
just save
available.
Whenever?
No, you can't save whenever.
Okay.
It's
Gotta
definitely
make it to a save
Metroidvania.
point, man.
So yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much how the game works. It's pretty straightforward. So just to further unpack what I went through to bring this game to you guys, as far as a Richard goes,
Are we there yet?
I mean, let's see what I can say here. As far as don't what?
I was saying, don't feel like you have to extend out if you don't want to.
Are you bored, Chris?
No,
I'm not. Right. It did seem like
I was saying, like, you were like, well, let's go down this thing. Like, don't cater to him. If you feel like you're ready to do
I have
Richard,
to talk
do
about the
Richard.
topic at least as much as we shoot the S in the beginning of the show. It's a disservice to our audience.
We did it.
But I would say that if you were looking for a Castlevania experience, this is a Castlevania experience.
Is it a Metroidvania experience?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a Metroidvania experience. I would say that while Igarashi was trying to make you appreciate the Castlevania Metroidvania series, what I think he did, hopefully intentionally, but I want more of this series. I think this series is cool. I think the Shardbinder concept is pretty amazing. I like the character of Miriam and all the other supporting characters that are there. I think he's done something where Way Forward is going to want more of these, whether done by him or somebody else. But
Did
I
they
think,
buy the property?
I don't know if they bought it, but they published it.
Yeah.
There's actually a pretty good. There's some occasional Easter eggs throughout the game that point to the Castlevania series. There's one, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's one enemy. Well, there's one enemy you face that is something that's a main character for Way Forward. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
And you can develop, you can gain access to that enemy shard ability too.
Is the final boss, instead of it being Dracula, is it Schmacula?
Not at all.
Wait, the final boss in Castlevania is Dracula?
Oh yeah. Come on, Sean.
I've never played. But
I think he knows that.
I've never played Castlevania. Any of them.
Yeah.
It's called a character flaw.
Yeah.
In what way, John?
Instead of Deckard, is there a Beckard? Or Deckard, whatever his name is? Is there a John Luke Picard?
So I beat the final boss accidentally.
Oh, okay.
I was exploring.
Accidentally?
Well, I was exploring.
They can go like, hey,
And
final boss.
I was exploring, and I happened to just stumble into the final boss's
Oh, that's cool.
room. I beat the game. It didn't
Credits rolled.
No, there's no credits. It actually, because I didn't do everything, because I didn't complete the map, because I didn't do all the bosses, it said game over.
Oh, that sucks.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you lost. I mean,
it just like kicks you out to your last save point.
Once it went back to the menu screen, there's an extra mode item in the menu where it had now unlocked. What I did was I unlocked boss rush mode.
That's cool.
But there's other things to unlock. I think this game has co-op. I just have to figure out how to unlock it. But this game, with as much area as I covered, many hours as I played, I've only covered 55% of the map.
That's good.
Not even 50% of the enemies have I even seen. So it's kind of a weird thing where I could just... I did not expect to find the boss last night. I was just... So in a sense, I can say, hey, I finished the game. So anyway.
You know what? I never once, to my credit, I never once this weekend actually looked to see if you were playing something when you were like, I was playing NBA 2K pretty much all weekend. What do you mean
to your credit?
Like, I don't mean
checking up.
Like, I wasn't like, going there. I was just like,
sometimes he will.
I just figured
we were
I was
playing
like,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and
I just figured you were
checking up on me.
I figured you were just, watching Stranger Things or something, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, because I kept seeing you pop up, like, hey, your name on Xbox Live.
I started,
and then like all of a sudden now you're like, oh. You got it on there. I'm like, well, that makes sense now. Okay, that's why I kept seeing him on there all weekend.
Well, I started diving into it hard past 3 days.
Now, see, when I see your name pop up on Xbox, I pause everything I do and stare to see
the presses.
What is about to happen here.
So, I have to give it a score.
Yeah.
But I want to be fair here.
People demand it.
There's a couple of things wrong, even on the Xbox version.
Oh.
Sometimes it's a beautiful game. The Xbox version is in 4K. It's 60 frames.
Because it's got 9 billion teraflops.
Absolutely. But sometimes the color looks a little washed out.
Was it all yellow?
No, I just mean it was like, I don't really know what that means.
It was all yellow. No,
the sequel yesterday will get rid of
Coldplay, right?
The sequel to yesterday will get rid of the Radiohead, and all of a sudden there won't be Coldplay.
Right. You got nothing, John? No clue who Coldplay is?
It's not Coldplay.
Isn't it that Imagine Dragons wannabe band?
Okay,
that's funny.
First off,
come on, that was funny. So. There's a certain game. There's a kind of a game-breaking bug in this, and it's happened to me 3 times.
Even on the Xbox?
I didn't have it on the Switch.
Oh.
I go to the menu screen, and it shows Miriam's character without a head.
Oh wow!
And so you can manipulate the menus, but if you try to back out of the menu, the save thing spins forever.
Oh,
you just have to stop the game.
That's annoying AF.
That's happened to me. That happened to me 3 or 4 times. So that's really the only fundamental issues with what is a cleaner, crisper, more responsive game. I will say for the game overall, both Switch and Xbox, all versions, the map is a piece of crap. It's just really
shame.
When you pause to the map screen, you're not immediately centered on where you are. You have to hit a button to center so you can figure out where the heck you are in this long map.
Is there an easy way to see yourself on there?
No, that's the problem. Wow. That's why I'm saying this map is crap. Now, one of the things
I know you said there was a center thing, but I'm like, even like if you start scrolling left or right, would you quickly be, oh, there I am. No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, he's saying it's crap.
Yeah.
So the developers have promised to work on the map, improve it, make it more
how does the map come out not good?
I don't know.
It's one of those things where I'm sure if you're them, you're going like, look, if people love this game, they're not going to care about the map.
It's a Metroid game. You need to know where you stand. Yeah.
How did Todd Howard put out Fallout 76, right?
Maps are a huge part of the Metroid game.
I agree.
They matter.
Okay, Ori comes out, no map. Oh, it's fine. It's Ori. Microsoft made it. It's fine.
They matter.
It would be a thing that I hit against. Yes, for sure.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying you should. I'm saying, would it make people revolt? That's probably what they're.
Revolt.
Now, if on the other hand, like for instance, people are revolting on Switch because the frame rate is terrible, right?
For more,
I don't think
than that.
the map, regardless, is probably like way down on the list of things that they're
but the map
complaining.
is crap.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's a serious,
Oh, no,
it's a serious detriment to the gameplay. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
you can't set waypoints.
Oh, well,
you have
that's
to,
fair.
you have to hit a button to figure out where the heck you are. There's no areas that are labeled
Yeah.
unless you go to the fast travel room. Then you can go to the different green icons to see what location you're going to go to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't really remember it.
Okay.
So you don't really have a good bearing of where you are on this map. It just needs a lot of work. And they said they're going to improve it.
Well,
So
we'll see, huh? We'll see.
Definitely see.
Well, you said what? The first patch is coming when?
The first patch, well, see, after the Switch complaints, the development team said that they were focusing all their efforts on improving the Switch version. So
Makes
I don't
sense.
know about the map. I don't know when they're going to fix the map. Regardless, July 15th is the date that they're supposed to release their first patch for the Switch version, which is going to include it's going to include some faster load times, response time for the controls, fix the input lag, and fix the frame rate, or at least begin the process of getting that cleaned up. They haven't really talked a lot about whether they are cleaning up the graphics or not. I hope they do. It's not a game. It's not a deal breaker per se. It's just really disappointing because I know I posted it on Discord and said I'm going to have a lot to say about this, and I think it was Punkhead.
Yeah.
I think he trolled me a little bit and said, "Well, the Switch is the inferior version." I know that, Punkhead.
That
I know that.
That's anecdotal.
Well,
He's probably just being direct and honest.
but with a game like this,
It should run just fine on the Switch.
and it should look
Right.
beautiful, and it
Yes.
doesn't look beautiful.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you might not be able to do 1080p with this, but you should be able to at least pull.
No,
720.
you should.
I just feel like they took the
I
3D.
mean,
I feel like they took the 3DS version or the PlayStation Vita version they
Kinda
were
just
working
stuffed
on
it in the Switch.
and stuffed it into the Switch.
That might
I
be
really
what
do.
it might be the architecture from when they were originally working on Wii U to how different it is on Switch, and maybe they're not a huge studio, right? So maybe it just caused issue with whatever they built. I don't know.
Maybe, Chris.
So
Development is hard, man. Development is hard.
Development be hard, yo.
But that said,
if you're on the fence about this game, I can tell you if you want it on the Switch, you need to wait a while.
Wait
You
till
need to
July
wait.
15th.
You need
Wait
to
a
wait
while.
at least July 16th to read the headlines to see if these things are actually fixing the problem. And I hate to say that, but that's just the reality.
Is that the facts, John?
That's the facts.
just the facts.
And so for the Xbox One, consider it PS4, PC, whatever you want. I'd say this game is an 8.5.
Okay.
On the Switch, this game is a 5.5.
Jeez.
It's just not very good. It's not very fun to play and get owned because your input lag is keeping you down. I mean, once I went to the Xbox, I had no trouble with these bosses.
Well,
Part of me wishes you would have just played it on the Switch, just so we could have got a 5.5 out of John.
Yeah.
Just a
hey,
bash.
we'll take
day.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think
there you go.
I think I have it on the Switch digitally. It's mine to own. Hopefully it'll be improved, so it'll be a title that if it's fixed on the Switch, I'll happily go back to because it's a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Poop
having a
game.
blast with this game.
No,
I really am.
Dr.
It's fun.
Mario
It's phenomenal.
is a poop game.
Yeah, but he could poop while he does this. He'd be like,
I'm just kidding,
you know,
Chris. I just
poop,
wanted to say
poop,
something
poop,
about Dr.
poop,
Mario.
Poop, poop, poop. And then you're like, oh, I'm done pooping. Time to put this down. Go back with life. I'll see you next time, Bloodstained.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd say that while I was
Yeah, I
pooping.
know.
We let him out of the house, don't we?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. You know? I don't know.
There was something that popped in my head, by the way, that has nothing to do with this when he said July 15th.
That's his birthday.
As you all know, I believe, what is it, July 19th is the 50th anniversary of us landing on the moon.
Who's us, Chris?
America.
That didn't happen.
Yeah. I saw this and it made me very
Are we going to the
happy.
moon for the show?
Made me very happy. Do you still have your HBO right now?
Yeah.
Do you still have HBO
I
access?
never did.
Oh, well, thought you had access to it though, right?
Oh, I guess I can log into my parents' thing.
But I'm not for the 50th
like
anniversary. HBO has gone back and remastered, and on the 15th they are re-releasing From the Earth to the Moon.
What is that?
It is the story of. It was made by Tom Hanks and Ron Howard.
Is it kind of like the broadcast mixed in and everything?
Yeah, is the step from is a miniseries from how they went from the Earth to the Moon.
We choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard.
And it's
That's
like
a good Kennedy.
It has a lot of people like Bryan Cranston plays
Name drop.
Plays Buzz Aldrin, and this is before really, I think, right before Malcolm in the Middle and all that. So he wasn't huge yet. John Saltry from Mad Men is on there for an episode.
Don't know John Saltry.
You'd recognize Tony Stark's dad.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah. John Saltry
is probably one of the most complete like documentary series I've ever seen because it literally covers NASA's Apollo program.
We were talking about Bloodstained, right?
Yeah,
How did we get there?
Because I said you're done, and I said okay.
Said
you said this. You said the patch is coming out July 15th. I was like, this just hit my mind again.
You know what else is coming out July 15th?
What?
From Earth to the Moon. That's what he was doing. Dummy,
Okay.
I was saying.
I got you. All right.
Yeah, I said.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, people out there, I've been wanting to rewatch this forever, and the fact that it's coming back and it's been remastered to HD.
You're excited?
This is with Band of Brothers and Chernobyl. This is like to me.
So you're now you're reeling me in.
Yes,
That was a hook, line, and pull on that one, son.
And you would like it because you like space.
I love who doesn't
in American.
Who doesn't love space? It's almost like we're like attuned to the spaceness of space.
But yeah,
huh?
But anyways,
do you ever feel like that around the ocean too?
Space.
John hates the ocean.
Do you guys want to pivot to some news?
Sure, man. Let's do that.
John, you have to say it too.
Yes.
Okay. Now we got it recorded. It's official.
Yeah.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News!
Good job. Good job.
I did.
Yeah. Now I'm used to, because, with this new board.
Yes.
We're able to listen to the backdrop, and for a while I've been struggling when it says news. Because that's our cue, right? To say news!
That's true.
But I did it. All right. Who's doing what, John?
I feel like I should do this first.
You're not doing nothing. Show your face.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I should say it because John doesn't want to speak of this game. Is that fine?
He's waiting for this version of the game.
After I typed it, I had to wash my hands.
Yeah.
All right, so I got this. You ready? Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC. That was great, right? A lot of energy. I really brought it, didn't I? A+. We have seen reference to a PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2. Has been found located in the source code for Rockstar Social Club. See, John, a source code is.
Rockstar Social Club is.
I've got that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The code was discovered by Twitter user JacoMako51. That's pretty tight.
Or is it Jacko?
Jacko Mako? I don't
know.
Potato. The source code contains the phrase, quote, RDR2 _ PC _ accomplishments. End quote. Could this be the hint that finally confirms what PC fans, not named Chris because he's not really a PC player, have long wanted?
I will come out this table.
I'm coming out.
I mean, I'm playing a PC game right now.
What are you playing right now?
My friend Pedro got on Steam.
Why?
Because I didn't want to get on Switch.
Why?
Because I wanted to play it in 4K.
Why?
Because it's a pretty game.
This could keep going, John. You know, if I was like a 7-year-old. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I don't.
I think this game is pretty desperate for sales. Like it didn't quite pass Black Ops the way it planned. So
yeah,
it's kind of like Avengers Endgame re-releasing.
Yeah.
You know?
Which
we know Chris was a fan of.
Yeah.
GTA 3 came out and eventually was ported to PC. I think just because, and the same with San Andreas, but really with GTA 5, that was the first time that they really, really invested because mainly of GTA Online to going to PC. So I would expect this is going to be the new norm going forward.
Thanks, Professor Chris.
They're always going to go out there and they'll release always first on console probably take about a year off, and then come back the next year after that, and you'll get a really nice, super upgraded PC version, that's the one thing I can say Rockstar has done. Like when GTA 5 came out, it wasn't just here's a port. It was like, no, first person mode's in here. Now you can play this with, a whole entire film mode in here. So
it's legit.
Yeah, they experiment around with these PC releases and use the full power of what's available.
But I mean, when Google Stadia rules the world, there's not going to be any of that nonsense you just talked. So it is what it is.
Google Stadia.
But I thought Keanu was ruling the world.
Google Lamia.
Right now, he kind of is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Cyberpunk 2077, the movie.
What? That would be dope, right?
Keanu Reeves' involvement in the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 has made the possibility of a movie, quote, much more of a possibility, end quote. It's a little redundant.
Yes.
According to Mike Pondsmith,
great name,
franchise director.
I mean, it's all right.
Quote, I can't really say anything on movie rights, but with Keanu Reeves being tied up in things, it's become much more of a possibility. How many times can I say possibility in this new segment?
I don't know.
Well,
his vision for this film
it.
would be a more action-packed version of Blade Runner. Because we all know Blade Runner is boring.
Stunk on ice, right?
You shut your mouth. I want to say Cyberpunk 2077 is an anime originally. I think that's where it's adapted from. Do not quote me on that.
I think it was a book.
You just quoted
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
And that's the thing about cyberpunk, the genre cyberpunk.
Yeah.
A lot of times it only really works in printed form. I mean,
That's why people love
obviously
Blade
this looks great.
It also worked well for Detective Pikachu.
And that movie was amazing.
Like when they hit the main city, you're like, "What is that, Blade Runner?" Okay,
Dude, that city. I mean, that movie was great.
yes.
Cool.
I'm just saying.
Well, let's hope it happens.
Mike
Starring
Ponce-
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Who knows if he'll be old enough or young enough to still play that? But
He's 50 years old.
Yeah.
What?
He
was great on 21 Jump Street.
Interesting.
Interesting. I really love Johnny Depp in what you call
The
it?
Matrix, right? Fantastic.
I was going to go Wild Stallion.
That works
Bill
too.
and Ted.
That works. Hey, did you know that Weekly Games Chat said that there's going to be a Bill and Ted 3 that's starting? I knew
I
that.
think it's filming.
Yes.
I've seen footage. I've seen photos of it filming.
They showed
Those Weekly Games
what's his
Chat
name?
guys.
Alex Winter. Someone caught a
Name
picture.
drop.
That's terrible.
Okay, Bill, if that's what you want. Someone caught a picture of him wearing the Wild Stallion shirt on set. I think he might be directing it too.
That'd be a tight shirt to get, right?
Yes.
We should do that.
Yes. Because we are Wild Stallion.
Yeah. Hey, it's Sony's fault, by the way. Not for that Bill and Ted talk we just did.
Ouch.
But according to Konami, it was Sony's decision to pull Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 from July's PS Plus lineup. In a statement to Eurogamer, Konami stated, quote, "This decision was made by SIE, and so please make it an inquiry to SIE." End quote. According to Sony, their quote is this: "This was a decision we decided to make as a company, and we apologize for any inconvenience." That was their quote. The theory is that the change may have come due to Sony's marketing deal FIFA or with FIFA, with PS4 branding being applied to the end of FIFA 2020 trailers. The actual reasoning remains a mystery.
Either way, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I would imagine most people that are interested in PES probably already own it. But if you're someone who,
I would have downloaded it.
if you're someone who are like, I just can't bring myself to pay $60 for something from Quantic Dream, because it's such a story-based thing, well, then you won. Here you go. Detroit Become Human for free. Go get it. Solid game.
You win.
John, you'd actually probably like that game. Of all
I
these
am
story
almost certain I would hate this game.
Why?
But I think as a bonus, if you get this game, you actually, the benefit of this game is you actually also get a free copy of
Is it Heavy Rain or
Heavy
Beyond
Rain.
Good?
Heavy Rain.
Okay.
Beyond Two Souls in certain countries,
Mm.
because for some reason they won't sell it. A Heavy Rain in certain countries.
Well, then everyone
figure-
should do it because Heavy Rain, regardless of its flaws, probably, and I'm sure that's a game like over time, if you went back and played it now, gameplay wise, you might be like, oh, that's a little rough. it's still worth playing at least once just to see some of the things they put in that game. I
know one year, it was last year or the year before, PES was actually critically more lauded than FIFA was.
It's always been it's always been, the redheaded stepchild, but at the same time, unlike something like how NBA Live is compared to NBA 2K, where NBA Live is kind of perceived as a joke, and it kind of is, PES is usually always done well. It's a different type of game from what I've read than how FIFA plays. FIFA might not be so much of hardcore simulation, but they are very hardcore on that. So, but of course, I think the thing that sucks for fans of soccer, and Sean, you probably know about this, is that a lot of exclusivity deals have been signed between different leagues and all that, so you don't get as much selection as you get in FIFA. They have some exclusive league on PES, and there are certain things that they are missing out on that they don't. I
can't remember if it was the English Premier League only, or there was. You're right. There was an exclusive thing. I think that drew me to getting PES one year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it was just
and you didn't like it, right?
Because it was so different than FIFA, and I was kind of like a FIFA guy, but
he's got that tattooed on his chest. FIFA guy. It's not Horizon Zero Dawn guy.
And it points to my Richard. Huh?
There's my FIFA.
Well, Richards are a lot like lightsabers.
How did we not talk about the fact we won the World Cup, by the way?
I was thinking of a way to bring that up. I didn't want to do it in our talk because I ranted.
Yes.
But yeah, the United States women's national team rules.
We sip tea and we don't care.
Right. John hates them. I'm going to put that out there. But I love them. I love everything about them, and I was very excited they won. I jumped up and down. Oh, and then I watched the men reach the Gold Cup against Mexico in the United States, in Chicago, where it was a Mexican home crowd.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Tells you how much they love soccer.
Right.
Compared to us.
The team makes the final of a tournament in Chicago, and there's 90% Mexican fans versus 10% Americans.
Who's the kid that they're all talking about as our savior?
Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Seems very good.
He is.
I have to tell you, I was crying, I was like, she hit her, up here when the penalty kick showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, how is that not flag?
Right.
Better go to the booth. Where's coach's
VAR, yo? It happened.
And then they did we don't have coach's challenge. We got booth review. I was like, booth review. And they were like, let's go to this system. I was like,
what system?
What system? What? No, it's just booth review.
Yeah. Our country backs up. I don't know if it's because they win. I don't know if it's because of their personalities. I don't know what it is, but our country seems to gravitate more towards the women's team versus the men's team.
Well, because they're successful.
And they went over to France and they did what they went to do. Yeah. And it was fantastic. And if you want to, you can see my tweet of my freshly shaved head and the girls behind me winning.
That was the big thing I took away from it. I looked at Sean posted a picture. I was like, Sean shaved his head.
There were some big things taken from Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah.
After the E3
much more important than soccer.
Ouch.
After receiving
anecdotal pivot time, bruh.
After receiving feedback during E3, Respawn Entertainment has changed the design of the lightsaber wielded by protagonist Cal Kestis. The traditional blue lightsaber has a white core, while the design for the game kept the blue hue throughout. According to Stig Asmussen, the game's director, it was not the intention of the team to redesign the lightsaber, but was simply a mistake. Quote, we made a mistake on that one, and since then we fixed it. That was very fair feedback, very fair criticism, and we've tweaked that. We've also tweaked the shape of the lightsaber blade a little bit as well, too. You can see the difference right away.
Oh, boy.
Obviously, the game features a human hero because Respawn was concerned that an alien protagonist would alienate players. And we actually touched on this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
According to Asmussen, quote, we wanted to make sure that there was a real human connection to the character that we have in the game. Although that's more kind of like a broader decision why we did it. Talk about blaming EA. Personally, I think it would be really cool to have an alien protagonist.
I don't think it's just EA on that. I think it's also Disney. Disney's like, nah, we gotta have,
You know who could work that's not a human? And like an Ahsoka Tano could work.
That's what we were saying a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no. But just in case other people didn't listen, John.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I hear that, I'm like,
see, here I am trying to relate to you, and you keep putting me down. I don't know why you do that
though.
If you do a great job with your characters, it doesn't matter if they're aliens or humans. People will relate to them.
That's not what you really think. You're just saying that for public consumption.
Mass Effect 2, every character in there, I do not care about, outside of my Shepard, right, that I'm playing it because that's me, right? I'm building that to be me. But all the characters I meet in that game, the ones who I care about the most, they're all aliens. You know, versus...
Well, aren't you enlightened?
Well, outside of the women. But that was because I had romancing things to do. But, you know, I don't care about the lightsaber thing, too. But I guess that's cool that, you know, they're that committed. Right?
Yeah, I would have said, you're supposed to have a little bit more white in the middle of that lightsaber.
That's like the people. Actually, the cloaks that they wore in Lord of the Rings had a different shade of green than the one as presented on the Peter Jackson film.
And it was like 20% rayon if you really look closely at the fibers.
Yeah, that level of depth, I'm like, I don't care, man.
It's all perception.
You know, sometimes people struggle with perception.
Do companies?
And sometimes...
I do. I really do.
Right? And sometimes, you know, video game publishers and things to do with video games have perception problems.
You don't say. Does anyone come to mind?
I'm going to go with EA.
Oh, you don't say.
EA's vice president of strategic growth has revealed how he struggles with a public perception that EA is, quote, just a bunch of bad guys, end quote. He hopes that EA Originals, which is the publisher's label for indie games, will help reconnect with new talent. According to Matt Bilby, his quote, 25 Bilbo Baggins? You should never 20 pause this. You shall not pass. 25 years at EA, and I still struggle with the external perception that we're just a bunch of bad guys. We love making and playing games and making other things. Unfortunately, when we make mistakes on games, the world knows about it because it's its size and scale. EA Originals is our opportunity to connect with that talent and those smaller ideas.
Specifically, this was an interview kind of about what's that game called that you're no longer going to play?
Sea of Solitude.
Sea of Solitude.
Yeah. And look, I give them credit. Like, it is nice that they reach out, and you know, we played A Way Out last year.
That's funny. That's funny, by the way.
We like that they go out there and they reach out to these smaller developers and say, "Look, we're a major publishing arm. We'll publish your game for you, and you know, give it an opportunity to maybe have amount of money behind it wouldn't otherwise, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like the perception they have is just more so, and I think the sad part is that EA used to be something that was seen as a very creative company in the early to mid 90s, and over time it became more of this corporate synergy, like just we acquire things after they're successful and then we just pump them out and we don't really develop and build our studios the way that, you know, like once people buy out or you get bought out by EA, it feels like a lot of the teams leave and they go off and they form their own studios, and you're left with these shells of companies of what they were previously, and then they fall apart, and things like, you know, Dead Space all of a sudden gets shelved, or, you know, even right now, you know, someone who loves BioWare, I keep worrying, I'm like, how much longer do they have before someone says, no more? But, you know, hopefully at some point they can get it together and maybe get a true vision, you know, and make something unique that's just theirs again.
Well, one of the things that's just eternally centered alongside EA, we talk about perception, the idea of loot boxes is thought of with EA.
Yeah.
Almost universally, you think of loot boxes, you think of EA. And that's unfortunate because, you know, it's a standard practice across the industry. Yeah. And, you know, EA has been pushed out front as that villain, that picture of what these loot boxes stand for. But to me, what loot boxes stand for is parent your children and leave loot boxes alone. I just had to get that out.
You know, I actually watched a thing recently, though, speaking of loot boxes, and it made me think of it in a different perspective.
Chris, we can't talk about that on air.
No, like where people who have, I understood afterwards, like people who have a gambling problem, I totally understand it. Like, or they have just an addiction in general problem, right? Like, it's basically, you go from, imagine someone is a drug addict, right? And they've been needing this drug forever, and they finally get clean, right? And they go to this place of trying to play games maybe as a way of escapism, and all of a sudden you put something that is just open one more pack, type thing. It hits back to addiction. And like, I listened to a lot of testimonials from people saying basically how this affects them, especially gambling addiction, because they're like, they're saying like, look, I go to a casino and I will blow all my money and I will not care. And it takes years to get over that and a lot of control. And then you go and you play something like Call of Duty and you think you're past all that. And all of a sudden here's all these packs that, boxes you can get for random loot. And they just go like, people don't understand that it's not that you're like, you lack control or whatever, or that you just don't have discipline. It's like literally, no, you have a thing going on in your brain that just, it feeds that addiction. Like, this gives you comfort right now. So you just keep going and going. And that is your new vice. That's your new thing that you keep pouring money into until one day someone like maybe, your wife or whatever looks at your credit card bill and goes, Jesus, what happened? Right. It gave me a very different perspective of it as far as that going on. I understand.
I can see that perspective, but do we need to eliminate a business practice to protect 2% of the population as opposed to the rest of them who know how to control themselves and know that they're taking the risk know that risk might not pay off, but they're healthy, otherwise human beings.
Well, maybe not, but the question is like more so, do you want an industry that is basically acting like this is the only way you can make money, when in turn it's like, but that's not true, because you guys do generate a lot of money. It's like, maybe there needs to be a focus of how to do it better, right? Like, where you don't have to do that.
Well, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but if we all really believe that, we'd stop buying loot boxes.
Yeah, for sure.
And the industry speaks, and we support loot boxes.
This is a guy who buys NBA 2K every year, $60 game, and then promptly, does what I have to get my character to like level 75.
What does that mean, Chris?
Basically, your character in NBA 2K, when you start,
what do you buy, Chris?
I buy VC,
right?
And like, that is the same thing in a way, as a loot box in a way. It's basically, here, pay us to get further along now. And I'm lucky that isn't something I consistently need to buy. Like, it's a one-time buy and then it's done from there on out, because I just don't need any more after that. But for people who play, especially Madden, FIFA, or my team in NBA 2K, it is a continual thing, because every single week there's more exclusive cards that are only out for a limited time, and you have to go buy a random pack, which is basically a loot box, to see that you can get this thing right now. And they've been very honest, and there's been presentations done at conferences where marketing people very much come out and say like, look, your goal is to get whales. Like, that's the goal, is to get someone who will come in and will give you, 200,000% more than the average person in terms of purchases.
No, the life goal of a marketing person is to convince you you need something that you don't need.
Exactly. But I'm saying for these, when it comes to these things, and I think the misperception is that it's just rich people who do it. I was like, that was kind of more, I think like, no, that's been the idea in a lot of people's heads, is that the whales are just rich, entitled people who are just paying for things out of, well, I have endless amounts of money. Who cares what I throw at it? And it's like, no, there is another side to this. There are people who are affected by this. And unfortunately, they don't have much of a voice, because, how would you?
No, right? The power of loot boxes is it's stimulating.
Yeah.
I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey with Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the season pass, and a few weeks ago I spent $30 on skins because I wanted my character to have a flaming head with no pupils.
I got that one too.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
The horse too.
Yeah, I got the horse.
Yeah,
you should play that game.
Yes,
I don't want to play that game.
You know what you should also play? because it's getting a TV show.
Is this me?
Yeah, that's you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know you.
Cuphead is.
You guys just talked for 30 minutes and you forgot the rotation.
It was 25 minutes. Cuphead gets a TV show. Cuphead is coming to Netflix. The series will be entitled The Cuphead Show. This is going to be so stupid. Like the game, the show will feature 1930s style animation.
Vaudeville.
It will also be hand-drawn, though not entirely to paper. The animation will be done by Netflix's own in-house animation studio. Cuphead co-creator Chad Moldenhauer told IGN, quote, "We are not going to be animating this ourselves because it would never be finished," which I thought was funny. The idea will still be that every frame is hand-drawn. It's going to be hand-drawn, but digitally. Tradigital.
That's funny.
End quote.
That's kind of what South Park does.
But seeing as you, did you ever play any of it?
No.
Seeing as you played the game, what's the direction you can see for this?
Well, I mean, you just take Cuphead and Mug Boy, I think that's his name, his sidekick, and you
Mugman.
Is it Mugman?
Yeah,
It's something like that. And you just go from there and just have them go on journeys in, kind of like this Sin City type way, and like they get into predicaments and they get out. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a show you'll do. I don't know if it's like, that's the idea, is that the Cuphead and Mugman like make a deal with the devil type thing, and they're trying to buy their souls back.
That's in the game, Chris.
Yeah. So you could do that, and it would work for whether it's just a mini series. I don't know, or if it does well, then
What if it's something like Castlevania and has nothing to do with anything?
Could be that too.
Castlevania has everything to do with everything.
Yeah,
It's terrible. The anime
I still need to watch
great
the
on
second
Netflix.
part.
The game itself,
Oh,
overrated garbage.
Stab you in
just
the
kidding.
throat.
and then the police came.
So if you're still playing Marvel Spider-Man,
Which
I've got some.
I dabbled in it a couple weeks ago myself.
I've got some great news for you. If the hype around the movies got you going, I want to play that Spider-Man
I'm
game on
excited about
PlayStation.
these. I'm excited about these.
New suits are available. The 2 new suits for Spider-Man Far From Home have been released as playable suits for Marvel Spider-Man on PS4.
Great looking suits.
It is currently a free DLC pack. That means no money spent. You can boot up the game and update to patch 1.16.
And Sean,
What?
we love a good patch.
We do love a good patch, yeah. Officially, every MCU suit is now available in the game, as well as Sam Raimi's suit and the Spider-Verse suit.
I wonder if it's gonna
Enough
have,
about the suits.
I wonder if it'll have its own unique power too.
I don't know. I haven't seen the
Usually
movie.
does.
Yeah, they they all have their own.
It should have, from what I gather, right? The Far From Home suit picks up from where the in-game suit left off with the arms and stuff coming out.
No.
Question.
No?
While we're on this, you know how the trailer had him in the diner in his mech suit standing with a bunch of cops? Is that in the movie?
No, that's
That's
not.
what I thought. I was like,
There's
because
been
I
a
went to the
recurring-
restroom at one point.
2 movies this month
Twice.
I've seen, like, have in the past month have had this scene like now where obviously this was a little bit smaller than the other one. The other one was in yesterday where they completely cut a character out of the film. But yeah, that kind of sucked. I was like, oh, I guess they just didn't have time to joke around with cops.
Sean, do you have a favorite Spider-Man costume for Marvel Spider-Man?
Probably just the one for the game with the white trim, the classic. The one for the game that they show on the box art. I love it, and I think it's because of the pop of the white color.
It's a cool suit. Chris,
Do you think it's okay to spoil the suits at this point?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
The later ones? My favorite one is the one where it's a cell shaded like homage to the actual comics and the animated series. You know what I'm talking about.
That's my favorite.
Like it
That is
literally.
I've seen that suit. That's a dope suit.
Yeah,
It was really funny.
It's the one. It doesn't fit with the rest of the world.
it's so great, though.
but it's so beautiful,
Yeah.
and especially when you use the photo mode.
That's my favorite one, too.
Yes.
All right. Miyamoto
Who?
talks online.
We would like to play.
That's messed up.
What?
Couldn't even get his name right. Me, of all people.
Yeah.
Shigeru Miyamoto has contested.
That's the guy. I mean, that's the guy.
I'm just going to read this and let Chris go.
No, this better not turn into that thing.
It's not. Has contested that Nintendo has fallen behind on technology such as online networks and virtual reality. He's popping his knuckles. Quote,
This is my last time on the show, guys, because me and Chris are about to go at it.
We have not fallen behind with either VR or network services. We worked on them from the very beginning and have been experimenting with them in a variety of ways. In that time, we have objectively evaluated whether they actually follow our consumers.
Allow. Chris.
Correct. Allow our consumers to have an enjoyable play experience and whether we can operate them at an appropriate cost. Because we don't publicize this until we release a product, it may look like we're falling behind, end quote. Regarding cloud gaming, Miyamoto stated, quote, I think that cloud gaming will become more widespread in the future, but I have no doubt that there will continue to be games that are fun because they are running locally and not on the cloud. End quote.
Let me ask everyone here. Did I miss the update where I can start a party in my Switch and talk with all my friends regardless with what game they're playing without having to go to Discord? Because guess what? If you can't do that, you're behind everyone else. That I don't care.
So the PC's behind everyone else then?
PC, no, I can do that.
Okay.
PC isn't a brand. PC is a personal computer.
It's a platform that people play on, and they go to the same places you just said that you go for your Nintendo Switch.
But it's also on my PC.
To me, in this article, the biggest thing he said is because we don't publicize until we release a product, it may look like we're falling behind.
But they have.
The people at Nintendo, man, we can sit here and argue all day about, and I'm one of those who say the current model that they're doing for online sucks. They've come a long way from where they were.
Yes.
I think they're bending some to what the consumer wants, but I also know that like the article says, it's gotta make sense to them as a company from an appropriate cost level, from everything, from making sure that the player has the best experience they can on their games. And if it doesn't, Nintendo doesn't usually budge.
Yeah. It's their detriment.
Well, to me,
I mean, it could, in some cases, it's a detriment. You're absolutely right.
But even here, there was a Mario Maker came out and it had online problems. That's a major game for them. That is not huge. It's a 2.8 or no, I'm sorry. It was a 6.8 gig game. That's not a huge game.
Remind me of the major problem.
There's a lot of lag issues on the online.
On the online co-op,
co-op.
It just didn't run smoothly. I don't know if there's been an update to fix it. I haven't tried to play online to speak on it. We just spoke on it because we knew it was a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not trying to say they're terrible. I agree with you, Sean. They've gotten better. But when he says we're not falling behind, but you have, you're trying to catch up. That's cool. You're trying to catch up, but you are, VR, that's a little bit different. I'll trust them on that because to be fair, Microsoft doesn't have a VR product out.
They were the first working on VR.
Yeah. Back in 1994.
And it blew up in their face.
Well,
and I'll give you an update on their current VR with Nintendo Labo VR because I'm building that with Tinley.
But network services, they are, at least right now, they are behind.
Yeah, they're number 3 out of 3 for sure.
There's no question.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. There's some, but
that's part of communication. When you play Mario Kart
one of these days
online or Splatoon online, the network itself is fine. The online network for playing and competing is fine.
Yes, it's on par of what was on Xbox 360. I'll give you
no. When you're playing in an 8-man race and the stability of the network is fantastic. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, the phrase
you speak now.
The phrase falling behind denotes a deliberateness.
Sure.
As if to say, Nintendo, you hear the phrase Nintendo marches to the beat of its own drum.
Yes.
Falling behind denotes the idea that we're ignorant to the trends of what's going on in the gaming community. And I think it's clear that Nintendo is not ignorant to the gaming trends that their competitors adopt. So I think what Miyamoto means with falling behind is he knows what everybody else is doing. We're just choosing not to really adopt it in the same way. You would call it, this service is not as good. That's fair enough. But it's not technically the idea of falling behind. Falling behind means that you're putting all your resources into doing something as best you can, and it's not really cutting it. And that's not what, I just don't think that's what the case is here. There's always a lost in translation thing with these types of things. I think Miyamoto is talking about, we're doing the things we want to do for the system we have.
It's PR speak. That's what this is.
I'm going to give you a T-shirt that says PR speak on it.
Yes. But it is. It's him trying to say, how do I say this without having a negative in here? And there's a lot of that. Like even when he's talking about cloud gaming there. It's like, it's obvious they're behind because we haven't heard a peep anywhere. You know, there's things that leak all the time with Nintendo, just like there are with Xbox and Sony. It's just part of the industry, right? But you're not hearing anything about them in cloud gaming right now. Now, maybe tomorrow they come out and they're the ones who announce a partnership with Microsoft.
Whenever Nintendo would say over the past decade, we're not competing with Microsoft and Sony, everyone in the industry would call BS on that. When in fact, recently, it was deemed through a statement through PlayStation recently, they said, we don't consider Nintendo our competitor.
Sure.
And everybody just glossed over it.
Like it was
So it's BS
right.
when Nintendo says it, but it's acute and shrewd and knowledgeable when PlayStation says it. That's all I'm saying here. They don't view falling behind. How do you fall behind with people you're not competing with to begin with? That's what I think is being lost in translation with what Miyamoto is trying to convey. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, we can leave it there. Everybody good with that?
Yeah. They're falling behind.
He's got to get it in.
He does.
Falling behind.
He's got to get it in. But we enjoy our Nintendo Switches, don't we, John?
Oh,
Except for that Bloodstained game.
You know, I enjoy.
All right.
I like a good Bloodstained.
Do you know what? Do you know what I enjoy doing every week?
What's that?
Finally this week.
I still think you should go more like Pony on it.
Finally this week.
Yeah. I think that just works better. That's just my 2 cents.
But that's the way I always do it.
No, it's not.
I do the higher one, and
You just started doing it.
No, because I used to go finally this week. Finally.
Yeah,
this week.
we quit doing that, John. We hung that up.
You hung
I've been
it up.
gone a while.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm excited about this one.
Right?
So this is fantastic. Nike is getting N64 sneakers. That's right. There is a Nike Air Max 97 shoe, which is a fantastic shoe, that draws inspiration from Nintendo 64. It is not officially named for legal reasons, obviously. The shoe even goes so far as to copy the Nintendo logo with Air Max written in its place, but with the same design and font. There are also power and reset buttons on the tongue and a modified ESRB logo on the insoles. They are releasing before the end of the summer, and if my friends love me, they will make sure I get a pair of these.
Good luck.
They will be priced at $160.
I love that they do this, but at the same time, unless you are...
Unless you're a sneakerhead, for real.
Like, I remember a guy we worked with, friend Brandon.
Yeah.
He wanted the Nike Spider-Man's ones they put out from Into the Spider-Verse. And as soon as it was like releasing at 11 o'clock that day, and he was just sitting there refreshing. He hit refresh one time.
Sold out.
Saw the button pop up, buy now, hit buy, and it said sold out.
Yeah.
Sorry. This item's no longer available. We'll notify you when it's back.
You can buy them after they release.
Yeah, you can buy them once they go on the market and they're
double or
marked
triple.
up. Yeah, that's just the way it is. But that's cool. I mean,
It is cool. I like when video games merge with, pop culture and you're able to rock stuff like this.
I want to know why they decided to do the N64 and maybe not like classic Nintendo or GameCube or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I
want to
agree.
know the reason behind that.
I was going to initially say because of the color palette works.
Maybe.
On a tennis shoe. But the original Nintendo would look good as a shoe.
Yeah, same with the
Game Boy.
SNES.
The Game Boy and the SNES. It depends on how they did it.
You said SNES!
I did, because you said it. I'm going to hang myself now.
I'll watch.
Bye, Sean.
There was a Nintendo jacket.
Yeah.
It was like a zip-up hoodie jacket that looked like a Nintendo console, but it was super awesomeness.
For sure.
I still want that jacket.
Well, the PlayStation Nikes are pretty cool, and they actually do it through licensing. Then
I wonder if there'll be an Xbox one at some
I
point.
hope not. Even though I love it, it's just
like the OG.
They'll be bright white shoes.
No,
green,
like the
man.
original. Yeah, like have it be black with the neon green for Xbox.
I didn't have an original Xbox.
Well, Halo.
I didn't miss out. I was mad at them because they made Dreamcast go away.
Halo. It died before they got there.
That's not true. I remember having a Dreamcast, playing Crazy Taxi like the happy teenager I was.
Yeah.
When Mike Slade comes in and goes, "Hey, this thing's dying. They're making this thing called an Xbox."
Getting that.
which is funny because Xbox only sold
Yeah.
21 million consoles, 22 million consoles. GameCube
Was it
sold-
expensive?
No, it was just the first attempt.
Yeah. People weren't sure yet. It was one of those things I didn't have it at first. The way I got into Xbox was I went home for
the holidays.
It was my freshman year in college. I went home for the holidays and I came back and the guy who was in the dorm room next to me got an Xbox for Christmas. And then he's like, "Hey, you want to play this thing called Halo?" And then I stopped going to class as much.
And girls never existed again.
Yeah. I was like,
Look
at a girl and you just be like, "Ew."
I'm going to play Halo. I'm Master Chief.
Look at me. I don't want your.
I've got another box I want.
Because at first it was like you'd watch.
Nice.
At first you would watch each other play the campaign, and then someone's like, "What's in this multiplayer? You got an AR controller? Yeah, I got an AR controller." And then you're like, "Oh my god!" And then you're like, "Wait a minute, you can link it up to a network." Oh, this is.
You're up.
And then
nerd.
You'd have one team in one room and the other team in the other room, and
no one likes you.
There'd be this quietness on the floor, and all of a sudden you just hear "son of a
biscuit."
Yeah,
son of
it
a
was
biscuit.
It was awesome.
You guys want some pasta?
Oh, pasta.
Where can we get some pasta for dinner?
I know what John wants.
Smell it, man. It smells amazing.
Do you know what you want, John? You want to wrap this up?
Never.
Just to be safe.
Oh. Are you just dropping everything now?
Electronic mail at the fan.
I begin to doubt your commitment. If you want to, but I'm not doubting the commitment of our listeners, because if you want to write your thoughts and opinions in.
Thoughts and prayers.
You can write them to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Just like 3 people did this week, including TJ. He writes and says, "My apologies in advance for this topic." Ooh.
Yeah.
A known YouTuber by the name of Itka.
Atika.
Yeah, Atika. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Recently passed. It was an unfortunate event. For a touch more personal context, I am actually not a fan of Itka's, right? Atika. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this. I didn't find his videos appealing or entertaining. What's been more uncomfortable for me, however, are the reactions and content that have come from his untimely passing. Other YouTubers are posting compilations of his reactions, which feel like an attempt to gather more views. Twitter users replying to the announcement of his death to condemn people for not taking mental health issues seriously. People creating products such as custom Joy-Cons to honor him. This isn't the first time I've seen something like this, and it's beginning to become disturbing. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic. How would your team feel if someone used your content in such a manner? Thank you, as always, for addressing deeper subjects with controlled passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because on one hand, I'm sure people know him.
Yeah, I'm going to address what he said about us. I mean, we create content for our fans, and if something happened where we weren't here, I don't know how I'd feel if they were using us to gain more attention or, more followers, or which in turn generates more money for them. And that's what he's saying is happening. They're using, and I did read about the passing of this YouTuber, and it kind of was over the news, and it does suck. So I don't know how I'd feel, because on one hand, I'm like, it's our fans, let them do what they want.
Sure.
But on the other hand, I'm like, well, we did work hard to create whatever brand we have.
Is this a gamer YouTuber?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard to say. To me, I'm not shocked, just because I think it is the nature of YouTube and Twitch. Not so much with death, but recently, of course, Dr. Disrespect got banned, and then came back. And of course, for the 3 days prior to him coming back, he hyped up his return. He knew his ban was coming off, and he was gonna hype this up. And sure enough, when he comes back, he gets a ton of viewers, right? And on one hand, you think well, what's the punishment really? If all it meant was that you're gonna take a 2-week break, and then now Twitch and you are gonna make a ton of money off of this, right? And it's the same thing here. It's there's not going to be any punishment for someone putting out this stuff. All it's going to mean is potential ad revenue, as you said, which kind of sucks, but that's the naming in the name of their trade, is attention, and taking whatever's happening in the moment and using it to transfer it in clicks. I would just say it's up to you as a viewer to decide if it's something you want to give into and, click. And you have to, once you do, you have to understand that you're supporting that.
Yeah, once you kind of make yourself a personality, I think you almost start losing control of what people are going to do with your likeness. I'm 50-50 on when you said, how people condemn other people for not taking mental health seriously, and I did see some of that. But some would argue at least they're talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And trying to shed a light on it.
Especially if they go through it, right?
Right.
Or they know someone who goes through it.
So I mean, I think there's a side to each point you made. Again, like legit thoughts and prayers go out to anyone affected by him passing. In a way we're almost in the same kind of situation where, I don't know how to word it. I'm going to stop there, but it's a sad thing to see.
For sure.
Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
I'm not really sure about what's going on, so I kind of hesitate to
Fair.
share my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Next up, Toby writes in. He says, "Hey again."
Hey, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
I write in this week because my birthday was on the 9th.
Happy birthday.
Is it the 9th? It was
That's
yesterday. It's
yesterday.
today.
Yeah.
But yesterday, time vortex is.
And he's getting a Nintendo Switch. What games do you suggest he gets? I already completed Breath of the Wild on Wii U and all the shrines, making the only person to do so on Wii U.
Congrats.
False.
Oh,
My wife did.
Your wife.
Your wife. Thanks for your advice and game on. Super Mario Odyssey would be my first pick that you go get. And then maybe also Mario Kart. If you like to on Wii U, why not get it here?
Mario Maker 2.
Yeah.
Yoshi's, is it Crafted World? And check out the Nintendo eShop. They got some great indie games as well.
Smash Bros. Smash Bros.
Toby, I would definitely dabble with Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh, yeah. Dope.
That is a fabulous game. You will not be disappointed. Diablo 3 is actually great on Switch.
The RPG that you liked. Octopath Traveler.
Octopath Traveler, get it.
Yeah, spend hours on that bad boy.
Hollow Knight, if you want a Metroidvania and you haven't played it yet, that's on the Switch.
If Octopath gets you hooked on RPG type games on the Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles, you'll spend the next year and a half playing that game.
Yeah,
for sure.
And there's a little game called Skyrim. You should check that out.
If you like music,
Like
Cadence of Hyrule came out recently.
The game's fantastic. It's great. Dungeon crawler.
Not Bloodstained.
Yeah, don't stay away from Bloodstained.
Don't get Bloodstained. He does follow up with a postscript that says, follow up to my email from last week. I already did give you guys a 5-star review on iTunes.
Well, thank you, sir.
Tell your friends
John
to do
can
so.
sleep.
That helps us balance the John syndrome we have.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Sent in on the day of recording. I had nothing to do with this.
Wow. Daniel writes in, and he says, "Sup, y'all Southern Bellas."
Well, how you doing there, Daniel?
I've been listening to your podcast since January, so I'm not a seasoned vet of the show, but I am catching on quick. I'm a unique listener of yours in that I'm emailing you without having used your podcast to help me get through a tough time. I just like video games and can listen to podcasts while I work.
Well, hey, we fit right into that, right?
Yeah. Enough about me. I emailed you guys to compliment you all. Since listening to your podcast, I've transformed from a user of only Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, 2K, Madden, and maybe the only guy left playing H1Z1 to someone who generally enjoys games from all sources and give damn near anything a try. A podcast with you three feels like you guys would be having the same conversation no matter if the mics are on or not.
That's right. That's a true statement.
Yeah. Me and John always yell at each other. As someone who listens to nothing but sports podcasts and other nonsense to kill time, your questionable production value and clear friendship add value to your genre podcast that is incribly hard to find.
Thank you, sir. That's a compliment, John.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Got it.
Top notch.
I appreciate you Southern boys taking the time to create this extremely unique and extremely lengthy podcast on a regular basis. Love it. Gave it 5 stars because John finally asked.
Thanks, John. It worked. John, it worked.
He didn't
it
spell your
worked.
name. Oh, wait. Daniel.
He can spell my name any way he wants to.
There's no H in John.
There is today.
But there is.
Only
the book's called Dear John.
Only John from the Upside Down. John is John H in his name. But he says, okay, I don't want to keep you big country boys away from post-podcast grub any longer.
He knows.
Right? One question. If we game every night on Battle Royales on PS4 Pros, we all have high-speed internet and possess the necessity capital.
Necessary capital, Chris, which means money. Jesus.
Is it worth giving PC gaming a try? Man, that's a good question. Look, I would say it's only worth it if you want to build a PC and be dedicated to it. Like, don't, unless there's just something unique to PC that you want to play, don't go into a PC thinking you can, like, half it, because you can't. You know, you're gonna find real quick, like, you might get away with some things that are a little bit older, been out for a year or so, and you might have every now and then certain things that are smaller scale that you can play on your PC. But then you're gonna go and you're gonna get this. Think of like next year, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
you're going to try to play it, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, I can't play in 4K, it's 60.
Try to future-proof yourself, that obviously
Yes.
tailors to your budget. If budget's really a concern,
Yes.
hold off till you're able to kind of build a more high-end PC, because like I just said, it'll future-proof you. You'll be able to run the Battle Royale type games easily. You'll be able to go back and play like games like, I don't know, WoW and, whatever.
Yeah.
But then in the future, when a game like Cyberpunk comes out, it's going to be very intense on your graphical card. You'll be able to handle it.
If you're now the Battle Royale, I think also matters. If you're going on there to play Fortnite, you don't need to do that, because Fortnite's not going to look inherently better. If you're someone who's been playing, well, you say you're playing on PS4 Pro, so it's probably not PUBG. But if it's something like that, then maybe you go and check it out. One of the good sources, if you do already have a PC, is called CanIRunIt.com, and that will tell you if your PC has the specs to run a game at recommended settings.
One of our favorite sites when we're in the market to build PCs is PC Part Picker.
Yes.
It'll kind of let you know once you do your research and you find out, I want this piece in my computer and I want this, and this. It'll kind of put everything together from the best sources and the best sites to really get you everything together.
Or even better, they have people put out their builds, and then the community kind of just says,
I want that
rates
build.
them, and like you can see what is the top recommended build. So if you're like, well, I want to do an AMD PC, you can go on there and you say, oh, well, this is the best one right now. This is what everyone's making at the moment.
I built my PC to run, mine's dated at this point, but I wanted to run SWTOR and WoW and Final Fantasy. So when I built it, it runs all three of those games fine, but there's no way I'm going to be able to run Cyberpunk on my game at high res. So that if your question was more so battle royales on PC, you're not going to shell a lot of money out to run those.
No.
But again, I recommend that you future-proof yourself when you build a PC.
Yeah. And also you got to ask yourself, if you're doing it on PC, how you feel about playing with a mouse and keyboard for those games, because otherwise you will get worked.
Worked.
And he ended his email by saying, me and my boys coming to the Iron Bowl game this year. Game on. I don't know if that means he's personally got tickets to go to an Iron Bowl, or if he's saying his boys are, if he's like an Auburn guy. If that's the case, then
No, I think he's saying him and his boys are coming to the Iron Bowl.
I hope so. I want to hate Daniel.
Well, the Iron Bowl is in Auburn, so that would mean that Alabama is going to there. So
that means
either way. After that said, we have to say Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
That's what we have to say.
I got my ticket to the opener. Ooh. They're really cheap right now, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah. You should go.
Who
Look.
playing?
We're playing Duke. And like, I saw the tickets and I was like, I can finally go to Mercedes-Benz.
We've been.
I know you've been. I have not been to Mercedes-Benz. You went for Garth, right?
I did go for Garth.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I have not been there. I've been trying to go there, man. But like every time we go there, it's like, oh, we're playing Florida State in the first game ever in this stadium. And then later on, it was always, oh, you're playing Georgia.
Right.
Oh,
or Florida
great.
State.
Yeah. Or Clemson or something. You know, you're just like, come on, man. I just want an affordable game. Just one time.
But Daniel reached out because of Twitter. I posted a picture of, it was like a selfie of me today as we were recording. And it kind of reminded Daniel to email. I'm glad it worked out, sir. I don't think we have any other magic going on on the Twitter. I don't see any new follows. Twitter's kind of been silent.
Maybe you need to be more active.
I retweet. I put stuff out, man.
Maybe you should put your own thoughts every moment.
Maybe I should try to do that. I don't know.
Look at me. You commit to posting 20 times a day.
I can't look at you.
Unique things. And if not, I'm coming for you.
I'm going to say this, no matter what, if you are a Twitter user, you can find us there. If you don't know that, we are at Weekly Games Chat. We will read your direct messages or your mentions on air. And if you're a new follower, I will also say, hey, welcome, and I'll follow you back. So
for sure.
That's all we got on that.
This has been episode 212 of Weekly Games Chat. 212, guys. That's a palindrome.
It's still, it feels like, it's only been 12 episodes since the live podcast we did.
But you have to look at it as it's been 12 weeks.
And that's what throws me off, because I'm like, it's just been 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It's been 12 weeks, which is like a long time, John.
Yeah.
I haven't been here for half of it.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
I want to thank friend of the show, John.
Thank you for your back-to-back appearance, man. It's been great. You really brought value to the show today.
Man, you should come back next week. See what happens, right?
What are we talking about next week?
That's a good question.
We'll figure it out. Right? Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
iOS device.
Actually.
Why not?
That's it. This has been 212 again for Weekly Game Chat. If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you choose to use on your phone or tablet device, and you'll get a new episode just like this one every Wednesday, or maybe a few hours early if I feel generous. Sometimes I just go publish.
Yeah, I've been noticing you're doing that. Yeah. I think it's because you're lazy.
No, because literally it takes more work because I have to go over to the tab and be like, okay, just do publish now. Yeah. Like I have to click a button. I do it though because I love them.
You got to override the system.
Yes, I'm like, no, we're not waiting. Yeah. This thing's ready.
You're fired.
You tell I grew up on Monday Night Raw.
We did.
Yeah. If you want to follow us on social media, Sean might start posting more on Twitter. Maybe
I'll post just enough. Don't you touch it.
I will post more.
Don't touch it.
You're going to find 50 things. Well, how do you guys feel about buffalo wings? I think I might get that for lunch today.
Oh, my God.
And then you can write your thoughts and prayers into weeklygameschat@gmail.com. And if you want to join in all the fun and socialness of life.
Where it's at, really.
Yeah, where it's at, you can go over to our Discord. People are posting about everything on there all the time. It's Weekly Games Chat. There's a link on the Twitter page. There's a bunch of connections also to our friends on there who also have their own communities that we all support. And if you want to see us stream, or at least me, sometimes Sean and John, though Sean also streams on his own channel, you can tune in most Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Did not have one yesterday because I was working on some other stuff. Trying to
hide in the body.
No, I was tracking. I need to get your all's help too eventually on the other chair. I'm trying to.
We're not going to help you bury a body.
Yeah. I don't want to get it out the trunk, Chris.
Look, we're going to have this Goodfellas moment. That thing we buried upstate?
This is not a Goodfellas moment. This is a John Wayne Gacy moment. And we don't want any part of it.
Yeah. Though we live near a river, I don't want to chunk a body into it, Chris.
Do they know I'm dressed like a clown right now?
Stabby the clown.
Right. But, check us out there if you want to see what we're streaming. Talking about. Sometimes Sean just pops in. Apparently 10 p.m. like we've determined that's when it all
that's when it's on and popping, right?
It's all popping. So
the time zones come together.
Once you put the kids to bed, come get on the streams with us.
Even if it's for a minute, it makes us happy to see and interact.
Yes.
I like a good stream.
Ooh.
You just want a good solid one again, huh? The good old days.
I miss it.
Ouch.
This episode brought to you by Flomax.
Until next time, though, I will simply say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris. And game on, Sean.
Game on, Johnny Bear.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Push the button.
It's not on your mic.
Thug life.
Sorry.
You can't do it.
No, you can't do it.